The first assignment, mask up. The governor orders face coverings for students in counties hard hit by coronavirus.
Plus, rescue groups unite in hopes of giving dozens of neglected horses a better life. Details ahead.
I'm Martin Sue, and tonight I'll tell you about a Montana couple whose love story spans decades.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Also tonight, a new private school option in Great Falls. Thanks for making KRTV a part of your evening. I'm Tim McGonigal.
And I'm Hallie Schwinnard. First tonight, Governor Bullock expanded his face mask directive to include public and private schools in counties that have at least 4 active cases of COVID-19.
He also implored Montanans to follow public health directives, saying it's the only way to get the virus under control. The governor said as Montana schools attempt to reopen in a few weeks, some are considering whether to require or just strongly encourage people to wear face coverings at the school. He says strongly encouraging isn't enough, so it will be a requirement in hard-hit counties. 27 counties currently have at least 4 active COVID-19 cases. He also announced some new business assistance programs, including ones to help live entertainment venues and businesses near the east entrance of Glacier National Park. And finally, the governor said the only way to get the virus under control now is to follow public health guidelines and directives, and that many Montanans are not doing that.
Take that personal responsibility to carry a mask with you. And mask up when you go to the grocery store, to grab a beer at the brewery, or participate in a gathering, even if it's outdoors. Be mindful of the most vulnerable around you and be extra cautious in how your behavior may impact those more susceptible to severe illness from this virus.
The 175 new cases reported in Montana Wednesday is one of the highest. We saw a big jump in active hospitalizations today, up to 97, and we're at 80 deaths statewide. There are 1,440 active cases.
Tonight, we're learning about a positive COVID test at the Goldstone Assisted Living Facility. We're still trying to get some clarification on a couple things, but here's what we know right now. We're told in June, staff and residents at the facility were tested and all tests came back negative. A month later, July 28th, a resident was hospitalized and tested positive. Immediately, the Goldstone implemented quarantine measures for all staff and residents and scheduled testing for all. Residents and staff will continue to be tested weekly going forward. If you recall, on August 4th, the City County Health Department had identified an outbreak of 6 COVID cases in connection with a long-term care facility in Cascade County, but due to privacy regulations did not release the name or location of that facility. Therefore, we cannot confirm that this is the same place. COVID-19 has parents uneasy about sending their kids back to school, but one Great Falls business owner is looking to provide options. Isaiah Dunk has more.
The Bass Clef School of Music and Fine Arts started 5 years ago with the goal of becoming the Juilliard of the West. And this fall, it's inching closer as the school plans to add full kindergarten through 12th grade academic curriculum. The school had planned to add full curriculum next year, but those plans are moving 1 year ahead with COVID-19. Owner Timothy Bass said some parents are anxious about sending their kids to packed classrooms.
It's put a lot of people uneasy, and so they're very concerned about being in situations where they're in classrooms of 30, 40, 50, 60 kids in one room. And I understand those reservations, I really do.
Tuition for the school year ranges from about $4,000 to $6,000, depending on grade level, and Bass is expecting low enrollment numbers for the first year. The school is not accredited with the state of Montana, and Bass said that classes like English, math, social studies, and sciences will be offered through the organization's K-12 and STEM Fuse.
They'll get music, art, dance, and theater. It'll all be part of the curriculum, so they get a well-rounded amount of the fine arts. And then, of course, they're always welcome to take additional classes or lessons.
This Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. there will be an open house and art auction for prospective students and families to see the space. In Great Falls, Isaiah Dunk, MTN News.
Instruction will begin on Monday, September 7th.
Well, special delivery today. The Lieutenant Governor and the Montana National Guard dropped off personal protective equipment in Butte. It's at the Butte School District warehouse. There are face shields for kids and school staff, a barrel of hand sanitizer, and spray bottles. The best part is this is for any school district in the state that requests it. We're told the masks were made right here in Montana. Across college campuses in Montana, students are gathering to move in for what promises to be an unusual fall semester. MTN's Annie Johnson was at MSU today as the students arrived.
It's day 3 here at MSU's Move-In Week, and so far things have been going according to plan.
Oh, it's been great. I just got here not too long ago, but everybody was super helpful. Yeah, super nice. They just gave me a cart and put all my stuff in there and found my room.
Even the university's president stopped by to welcome students and to join in on the week-long fun.
This is not a moving day, this is a moving week. We decided to spread it out in 7 days rather than just 1 day.
And though the semester hasn't officially started yet, Dr. Cruzado says she's hopeful students and faculty will be able to get through the semester.
We're going to try to do it throughout the entire semester. We're taking it, in little portions.
But they are ready for the unfavorable possibilities as well.
We now have, of course, in addition to our plans for isolation and quarantine, because we expect that there will be cases, right? We want to be realistic about it, but we want to believe that we know how to handle it.
Plans which include housing for students living on campus who may have to quarantine.
We have set aside special units for quarantine. So what we will do in that case is that the student will be relocated from the residence life here or his or her unit to a separate location.
Despite the unknown or potential concerns, this incoming freshman is all moved in and ready to start the school year.
I'm just really excited that it is happening, so I'm stoked to be here. Really just excited that MSU especially is putting the effort in to make it in session, and so really excited about that for sure.
Students will be able to move onto campus up until Sunday, August 16th. Reporting at Montana State University, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
The University of Montana is buzzing today as students begin moving back to campus for the fall semester. The bunk beds and the bean bags are still making appearances, but as expected, move-in day looks a bit different this year. Throughout the coming week, almost 1,300 students will set up camp in one of UM's 8 residence halls. The density on each of those floors will be reduced. A floor that has a capacity to hold 40 students will now house 30 this year. Cleaning protocols will have an extra attention. Students will slowly work their way onto campus on a staggered check-in until classes begin next Wednesday. The university did not have to turn anyone away from living on campus this year and has extra space set aside for any students who need to quarantine. As colleges and universities are tasked with safely beginning classes, researchers at one school are ramping up testing. The University of Illinois is putting away the nasal swab in exchange for a test they say can be scaled to perform thousands of tests a day, and turnaround is just hours. Professor Martin Burke was part of the team of the university researchers who developed a 2-step saliva-based COVID-19 test to tackle the problem.
It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to submit your saliva sample, and then the results are typically back on your phone within 3 to 6 hours.
The veterinary school diagnostic lab has been converted into a full-scale humid COVID-19 testing facility. It's capable of processing some 10 to 20,000 tests per day. They've published a paper on their COVID-19 saliva test, which is undergoing peer review. They're also seeking FDA approval.
Well, influenza vaccines have begun appearing at pharmacies in Montana with no immediate end in sight for the COVID-19 pandemic. Health experts say it's more important than ever to get your flu shot this year. The Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services are recommending the general public to get an influenza vaccine during September or October of this year and not wait until flu season arrives. Any flu season has the chance of stressing the healthcare system with related hospitalizations. Combined with COVID-19, it could overburden hospitals and other healthcare workers currently responding to COVID.
It's going to be really important this year, as we move into a flu season where we're really trying to protect ourselves, but more importantly, getting a flu vaccine can help protect those around us. And so I would encourage everyone to do it, even if you feel like you don't get sick every year or you've never had the flu. Consider those around you and taking that flu vaccine to help protect everyone else.
DPHHS says anyone over 6 months old should get their flu shot this year if they're able. The state provides assistance for qualifying families to get children vaccinated at no cost. Well, switching gears now, it has been a windy day across the state, causing fire concerns. Our Storm Tracker weather team is here to tell us more. Grant Garland joins us. Grant?
Good evening, Tim, and good evening, everyone. And that's exactly right. We have been looking at a very windy day across the Treasure State. 37-mile-per-hour winds here in Great Falls alone, 30 down towards Helena, 35 in Lewistown, and around 25 miles an hour in Glasgow and Jordan. So very windy. But what are we seeing right now? Well, 14-mile-per-hour winds in a lot of places, Cut Bank, Great Falls, Helena, as well as Glasgow, 16 in Havre. Let's take a look outside, and not really seeing any of the trees blowing here like we were in Helena earlier, but make no mistake, that is still windy outside. 76 degrees right now in Great Falls, 80 in Helena, and 82 in Lewistown. Still 95 degrees in Glasgow. Now we are looking at a red flag warning. That is for those west of Lewistown. That will be lifted at 9 p.m. and those east of Lewistown by around midnight. Over the last 3 hours, we have been looking at a few spotty showers out and about to try and help us bring some moisture in, with others of us seeing just mostly cloudy skies. Now, temperatures are going to be cooling down for a great end to the work week, and we're going to talk about all that later on. But for now, back to you.
Thank you, Grant. Animal rescue groups from across the state gathered in Vaughan today to save 38 abused horses from being slaughtered. The animals originally belonged to a woman in Choteau County who was charged with 3 counts of felony aggravated animal cruelty in July. Hooves of Promise, a rescue group based in Arley, is one of several nonprofits that have been collecting donations over the past few weeks to save these horses. During the pandemic, horse rescue groups around the state have experienced a decrease in donations. The president and founder of Hooves of Promise says the pandemic hasn't kept her from doing everything she can to save these horses.
It's been very hard. Donations have trickled down to, just a few $100s a month. The end result for these guys, if we aren't able to rescue them and buy them from this auction, is a trip down the road to Shelby and an immediate trip to Canada on an uncomfortable truck to be slaughtered.
Young and other groups tell MTN that because of the efforts of several generous private donors, they hope to be able to save the horses. We'll have much more for you tonight at 10. Still to come, Montana barley growers are working hard to make sure your beer is refreshing. An update on their harvesting efforts next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Welcome back. It's harvest time across our region, and as the Montana Ag Network's Russell Nemitz shares, Molson Coors barley growers are harvesting another high-quality crop in Montana and northern Wyoming.
This year, Montana and Wyoming barley growers planted approximately 100,000 acres of barley for Molson Coors. Mike Killen is their agronomist for southern Montana and says this year's barley crop has been another dandy.
Really, it's been remarkable quality barley, very plump and high test weight, really hardly any issues. Had some higher protein in some hailed areas and whatnot, but overall it's just an exceptional crop, which was a nice reprieve versus what we've kind of went through the last couple of years with weather events and whatnot at harvest.
He says growers are still planting a Moravian barley variety, just a newer version named after a very important person for the Molson Coors barley program.
So right now in all of the irrigated acres in Montana as well as Wyoming, we're raising a variety called Bill Coors 100. It is a Moravian variety like we always have raised here, but it's got some real great qualities around plumpness, and we're very proud of it. We've had it here in Montana for about 4 years, and I think it's going to be here for several more.
And despite this year's COVID-19 challenges, Mike says Molson Coors honored its barley contracts with growers, which continues to show the company's support for this region's agriculture industry.
So yeah, we were happy. We contracted last fall before COVID even was a real thing, but we feel really good about where we're at with barley inventories and beer sales, and so we're honoring that contract and bringing in every pound of barley that we contracted to do so.
So as Molson Coors growers deliver another high-quality barley crop during this year's harvest, it's important to note that there's still a little bit of this high country barley in every Coors Original and Coors Light. In Huntley, Russell Nemitz, MTN News.
Well, most of us will stay in the 50s and 40s tonight. Don't go away. Your 7-day forecast is coming up next.
Storm Tracker Weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had a pleasant Wednesday evening so far. Let's take a look across Montana, shall we? Great Falls looking at temperatures in the 70s. Helena around 76 to 78. Hayes looking at the 80s, and over towards Lewistown around 77 degrees. Mostly cloudy skies, but thankfully we aren't dealing with too many thunderstorms. They are staying out towards the north east right now. Currently 76 again in Great Falls, 82 in Lewistown, Havre, and 68 in Cut Bank. A lot of cooler air. But you head on out to Jordan, 97 degrees, in Glasgow, 95. So you just catch me putting my head in a freezer because those are just too hot temperatures for me. We are seeing sustained winds at 14 miles an hour for both the capital and the Electric City up towards Cut Bank as well. Looks to be 16 miles an hour for our friends in Havre. But with our sustained wind gusts, currently we're seeing 21 miles an hour in Great Falls and 20 in Helena. Still looking at 35-mile-per-hour winds, sustained gusting right now in Lewistown. Hold on to your hats for us. Looking at our playing field, we are looking at a lot of scattered activity, showers, especially around Havre. The heavier downpours, as well as the lightning and things, those storms are pushing off towards Wilson and the Dakotas. As far as our fire weather is concerned, we are looking at that red flag warning being lifted tonight. Those west of Lewistown should be lifted right around 9 p.m. and those east of Lewistown being lifted at midnight. That's all thanks to the low humidity level values as well as our windy conditions. Now, as we go throughout the day tomorrow, we are going to be looking at 10 to 20 mile per hour winds right around lunchtime hour, late lunch at around 1:30 in the afternoon, and then dying down to around 5 to 10 miles an hour for most of us by tomorrow night. Now, what about the driest part of the day tomorrow? Well, it's going to be right around that 2 p.m. mark, looking at 24% humidity for us here in the Electric City. Why have we been seeing the windy conditions and mostly cloudy skies? It's because of this cold front right here that will continue to push down till around 10 p.m. We could see an isolated chance for a shower. I'm only calling for a 20% chance of that. As the cold front moves down towards South Dakota as well as Wyoming right around tomorrow morning, we should see a few breaks in the clouds, but then that's going to quickly reverse. We're going to be looking at a mix of partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies, and a high pressure will start to build off as well towards Canada. Watch what happens as we go throughout that night, tomorrow night into Friday morning. We're going to be looking at clear skies on Friday. It will be nice and beautiful, and our temperatures are really going to be influenced by this high pressure too. We're going to see temperatures that will start to get down into the 70s on Friday. 79 degrees there, 84 on Saturday, 89 on Sunday, before warming up to around 94 on Monday. Now, you can always follow me on social media, meteorologist Grant Garland on Facebook, and you can download that free KRTV app. Tonight, temperatures falling down to around 53 degrees in Hayes, 50 in Lewistown, 48 in White Sulphur Springs, 46 in Choteau, and around 44 up towards Cut Bank. We're going to see our temperatures stay well below the average for the next 3 days, which I'm really excited. Next 2 days, rather, before warming up Sunday, 89 degrees. We will also start to see maybe an isolated chance for a shower or two on Monday as well as Wednesday. Don't go away. We'll be back right after this break.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
After 13 years of dating and waiting, two 90-year-old Northwest Montanans have tied the knot.
MTN's Maren Sue spoke with the newlywed couple and shares their marriage advice for the rest of us.
It is my honor to present to you husband and wife, Ivan and Jerry.
Yay! It's a love story that spanned decades.
We were in first grade at the same time. The same school.
90-year-old Jerry Serrata first laid eyes on her now husband, Ivan O'Neill, in elementary school in Kalispell. Ivan says he's always kept an eye on her as a special someone, and at the time, she lived right down the street.
I was looking at her. She lived about just about 5 blocks away, and I knew she was around.
Both Serrata and O'Neill shared similar friends and reconnected in high school, and both went on to marry other people. Unfortunately, Serrata's husband passed away in 2005, and O'Neill's wife passed a year later. It was years later in 2007, a chance meeting at the Columbia Falls Coffee Traders that reconnected them.
I waved. Ivan came over and I introduced him to my sons, and he visited with them for a little bit. And as he walked away, I thought, you know, if someone that nice were to ask me out, I might go. My phone rang that night, And Ivan said, I have 2 tickets to the Alert Banquet, and it isn't fun to go alone. Would you go with me?
Throughout the years, O'Neill was persistent with Sarada and expressed interest in marrying her, but she wasn't ready until this year. O'Neill happened to have family in the area that were pastors and jumped at the chance to get married. But with coronavirus concerns, they both wanted to be careful, so they streamed their ceremony for family across the country.
Even though they were thousands of miles away, they could still be in a part of the group.
And we kept it a small group at the wedding because of COVID.
Wearing masks, Sarada and O'Neill married in Lakeside on July 25th of this year. Jury's advice to couples is to love, be kind, and thoughtful to one another. In Columbia Falls, Marin Sue, MTN News.
Sarada goes on to say, love your partner unconditionally and accept them for who they are. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Well, tonight temperatures will be falling down to around 52 degrees in Great Falls, 51 in Havre, 60 in Glasgow, and 60 in Wolf Point. As we walk out the door, well, temperatures are going to be right around 51 degrees with mostly sunny skies, but then we'll quickly turn into a partly sunny, kind of mostly cloudy day, depending on where you're at. Temperatures tomorrow will warm up to the lower 80s, staying below average. I'm thankful about that. 83 in Glasgow and 84 in Jordan. And as far as the next few days are concerned, well, enjoy the temperatures because they're going to quickly warm up to 94 degrees on Monday. It's going to be a hot week next week.
Yeah, nice little cool down before that.
Yeah.
We'll take it. That's all the time we have. We'll see you back here at 10.